Hi YouTube, I'm Alan and this is
Tony.
welcome back to our channel, The Modern Canadian Family. Today we have a very special episode. We all know that musicals are simply magical, right? They make you laugh and cry, sigh, all kinds of emotions. We know that, pandemic is almost coming to an end and musicals will return. So here today we would like to share our top three, musicals of all time. So as soon as the theaters are open again, you can go and check them out.
Top three of our choosing, three for each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So our first pick, by the way, this is not in any particular order. It's just what we think we like the most among all the musicals.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, I would say, Book of Mormon. It's a story about two young missionaries who are sent to Uganda to try to convert local citizens to the Church of Mormon. It's really hilarious plot. It's both religious and but filthy, and it's funny but also sad. The musical is full of great music. I think that's really why we really like it. And in terms of all the musics in the musical, I would say I like Salt Lake City the best.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Maybe it's a little bit surprising, right? I didn't pick those actually, those songs make to top pick list, normally online. But the reason I like it is really because, first of all, it's a sad song, but it has a very strong and powerful message behind it. I think it's really one of the most powerful performance in this whole show. You have to see to know what I'm talking about.
Alright, our next pick is Wicked. This is the story from kind of connected to The Wizard of Oz, but from a very different perspective. So forget about Dorothy. This is really about the two witches, right? Including the famous Green Witch. Here we get to learn about how they first meet, how they become friends, and what happens after. So it's a really cool story. It's very magical. The lighting is beautiful. Like, it's all green and fun. So it's one of my favorites. We saw it at least twice, I think, right now. And I love the songs. It's the notes that they're holding is really impressive. But also the theme around what does it mean to be different, right? To look different from others and to try to fit in, but also about acceptance. So for me as a sociologist, it's really about race and acceptance and having a space in the community. It's also about friendship, and defying, challenges. So one of my top songs is Defying Gravity. It's one of my top songs to go to the shower and sing, and I try to sing the high note without success. But it's a beautiful song about overcoming obstacles and finding your place in the world. I love it.
It's a great show.
Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in green now.
The next one, I would say perhaps the Rocky Horror Show. It's such a cult classic. There is movie version of it, and there is tons of versions of musicals about it. I think most recently this music is mostly performed by community theaters now, rather than on Broadway or mainstream theaters.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, yeah. So it's a funny story, right? Sweethearts Brad and Janet, they stuck with a flat tire during a storm, and then somehow they accidentally entered into a transversatile scientist machine, and then a lot of weird things happened. So the funny thing about this musical is, at least for myself, the first time I did not understand what it is about, and I googled online. I realized a lot of people are asking the same question: what the hell is the story about? It's just so random, and it just feels like there isn't a theme.
But that's what makes it interesting. It's very surprising every
It's
turn.
very surprising, and the story just goes from one place to another. It's kind of weird, but also I think it's very interesting. The more you watch it, the more you get it. The reason I like it, really, it's because it's bold and weird, But also, if you go to a live musical, you will realize how engaging this musical is. It's very different from many other traditional musicals. You are as an audience, you just sit there and watch. This one normally they provide more of kind of a dress up and a singing along experience.
Yeah, and you shout words too.
Yeah,
you really participate.
It's a very immersive experience. That's another reason I like about it. And also a lot of audiences are really Rocky Horror fans. They really get into this the characters, the story, and it's just really interesting. And in terms of all the the songs I like about the music, the musical, I think I would say I like Rose Tint My Word the most. But it's not one song, right? It's kind of making up of 3 pieces of music. It's the floor show, Don't Dream It, and also Wild and Untamed Thing. The reason I like this piece is really this series of music really make the story take a huge turn of all the characters revealing themselves, and also I think this music really leads to the main message of the music. I doubt there is a main message, but I think that's that's the main message. Let's just say it's don't dream it, be it.
And it's very sex positive. I like it.
Don't dream it.
Don't dream it.
All right, so our next top choice here that it has to be on the list is Mamma Mia, right? This is a musical that has been on Broadway all over the world, but also even in movies, right? With Meryl Streep, of course. But it's a really light story, right? It talks about Sophie and her family. They're preparing their wedding, and Sophie really wants her father to be involved in this. So the problem is we don't know who her father is. So she gets a hold of her mom's diary and she tries to find out who the father is and invites a whole bunch of men to come to the wedding. So as you can imagine, this is pure fun drama. It's such a light story, but it's also about, the connection between family. Like, what does it mean, right, to have a relationship with your mom or your dad? The movie has such beautiful settings, right? Like, it's shot in Greece. So you see all those beautiful blue oceans and nice cool houses and fountains, right? So it's a really nice musical. I think my favorite song is like a queer classic too. It's just Dancing Queen. I mean, that's a go-to, right? ABBA song where you're in the karaoke like late at night and you want to sing an upbeat song. So it's one of my favorites. And again, I think it's a very good musical. It just makes you want to move and shake your booty as you're watching. Often at the end of the musical, people are dancing along. So I think it's a nice one.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17.
Our next pick would be Dear Evan Hansen. So this is a pretty simple but also complicated story, I would say. Evan is a teenager who struggles with severe social anxiety, which makes it's really hard for him to make friends in school. But following the suicide of a classmate, he started his journey of self-discovering and also acceptance. It's a pretty moving and a deep story. That's one of the reasons we really like the music. But also this musical taps into a lot of issues, right? Related to loneliness, related to awareness of mental health.
Yeah, bullying.
It's really relatable. A lot of people really resonate into the story, into the characters. And then what is more powerful is really that this musical really delivers the message of hope and resilience towards the end. That again, people really felt about it while watching it.
A lot of young people too, especially in school, when you're having a really hard time and experiencing bullying and feeling lonely, like this musical really touches you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And and the favorite song of our pick, I would say, is definitely "Waving Through a Window." The melody is so contagious, and also the performance is just so powerful.
On the outside, always look a little way like you better be more than I'm always been, 'cause I'm tapping on the glass.
our final pick is Kinky Boots. This is a story based on film, actually, that includes Charlie Price. He becomes the owner of the shoe factory, and the factory is not doing very well financially. So he needs to figure out a way to keep this family legacy alive, and the way that he does it is by partnering with Lola, a cool, drag queen that performs and really has a hard time finding shoes that fit her. So as you can imagine, that partnership is really, really amazing, right? This is a movie that is a roller coaster of emotions. Like you go from like, oh my God, I'm laughing so hard to like, wow, this is so touching. Like I'm almost tearing up. So it's really upbeat songs, really exciting. And again, the message really is about acceptance, right? There is a theme of self-love in the face of homophobia. So, I mean, I think Broadway musicals are perfect for queer people because it helps us deal with some of the challenges that we experience. And a story like that, right, really speaks to us. So one of my favorite songs, at least, is Not My Father's Son, where Lola is, kind of reflecting on what does it mean to not feel accepted by his father, right, as who he really is. And I mean, how many of us queer people have experienced that, right, the not wanting to let your parents down. So the vocals are so powerful and touching. There's such chemistry, right, like in the story and the characters. And, it's about wanting to make your family proud, right, and being true to yourself. So some of the songs is about that, right?
Yeah.
Is a be who you want to be. And that's what I love the most about musicals.
And that's why we put this the last. It's the most important one, and I believe it's one of the most powerful musicals we've watched.
I'm not my father's son. I'm not the image of what he dreamed of.
So that's our top three picks from each of us.
Or top six, I
Top-
mean.
top
top
six
three
in
for each.
top three from each of us. We do hope you liked our personal views of these musicals, and if you haven't seen them, please do.
Buy your
After
tickets.
buy your ticket after the pandemic. And if you are interested into more of what we like, what we do in our daily lives, please subscribe to our channel and watch more of our videos. See you next time.
See ya. Bye.